Hi everybody, this is part 3 of the flashlight CAD on OnShape. This is revision B. I'll just remind you again that revision B has this square shape on this angle just to make it easier to 3D print in the future. Revision A was a more circular shape, and being circular, not really having a flat surface, it just makes it harder to print, and the print won't be as pretty. So last video we left off making these fillets that you can see right here. The drawing that I did have at the time didn't include this fillet, but I mean you can see even without this dimension, it's pretty obvious that that fillet is supposed to exist there. So we added it in the last video, and as you can see here, we sort of forgot this fillet, so we can add that one in right now. It's also 2.5. Back here, it's square shape. So yeah, let's get right into the video. So there's two ways of doing this. I can make a new fillet, or I can just edit the old fillet that I had and click on the edges that I want to add, because they're also 2.5, so there's no point of adding the new fillet. So I can just edit it, and now you can see it there. All right, so I was telling you last video, we still have to make the holes and the part that gets protruded right here. So if we keep looking down at these video or these dimensions, so here I'm zooming in, you can see that this hole is going to be placed 6 millimeters from this line, but we're not going to have this line until, because like if I go back, there's no line that exists right there. So it looks like we have to first CAD this. And so now we have to find dimensions that sort of help us guide us on how to make this. And so this is where I like to say it's like a Where's Waldo game. So we have to find that dimension. So we're looking around, and right here, I spot it. So it's 15. So I know that it's 15 across right here. So right here also it's 15. And that's all I see. And so right here we have two versions. Right here we have the side cut, top view, and then we also have the top view, which is section B. But it cuts right here down the middle, so it's like ignoring this and just showing us the left side. Right, so we can see this sort of triangle shape right here. And as we're looking around, like, you should see right here that triangle shape, it's getting reflected on the other side. And same thing here, this fillet right here is being reflected right there. See if there's a better view of this. You can see it here. There's this rounded shape right here. So just based on that information, we can assume that we're basically going to do a 15 millimeter line this way and just use these shapes and then revolve it all the way across. And so in the past we did do a revolve, so we're just going to do it again. So let's, I might have made it obvious, but our sketch plane is going to be right here. Let's get a nice view right here, top. And so I was telling you, we're going to have to zoom in. And so I'm just selecting these parts, and we're going to use the use tool. That sounds so bad. Use the use tool. We're going to select the use tool. How about this? From here on, I'm going to just call it the convert tool. So we're going to use the convert tool. So right there, now you see, black lines. That's what the convert tool did. And then now I'm going to press L, or go up here, click line. Just, click anywhere. I'll just click here. I don't want it to be set to the midpoint, So that's why I avoided that. And so I want it to look like that. I want it to be coincident on this, left diagonal orange line, but I also want it to be completely horizontal. So I click escape, and then now I'm a dimension or shortcut D. Click on that and type in 15. Press enter, and look at that. We have, our shape, and this is just going to be revolved in the future. So I'm going to select my line tool and also shortcut construction, so it's Q. So L and Q, and then escape. That's going to be my revolve axis. And I'm going to use the trim tool, which is M, and just trim this excess line here and there. And now click escape, click our revolve, click that line, and now I'm rotating it across just to get a preview. So we don't have to do full. So I'll just do one direction, and here type in 180. I suppose we could have left it as full, but um, yeah, it's fine, either or. So I just did one direction, but I suppose you could also do full. And now when we rotate it, I click escape. So always get into that habit. Whenever you're done with something, click escape, because there's going to be one time you forget to click escape, and then uh, you start making a new line when you didn't mean to. And so I don't know, it's just a pet peeve whenever I catch myself doing something I didn't want to, because I forgot to click escape. And so now we got what's in the drawing, right? You can see if you go back, and scroll all the way to the top right, there's that angle, and we get to see that curved shape, and you can see it there also. But you can also notice there's fillets right there. So let's add those fillets. So let's go back into their drawing and check the fillet size. Oh, and it's right here. So fillet radius of 1, and just assume symmetry. So now Shift F for fillet, click on our two edges, edge there, and make it 1. Green check mark, and let's go to our top view. So now we got our fillets. It's coming together really nice. And, and so now that's done. Now let's make these holes that are present. And so we have our diameters right here. So we have a big size hole, which is 5, and a smaller size hole of 2.6. And if I look here, I can see it's 2.6 all through, and then it's going to be that 5 diameter hole at some point, or actually not really some point, right here, 4 millimeters from this flat side. So, I mean, for now, let's just make that 2.6 hole, and then extrude cut all through the material. Later on, we'll make a new plane 4 millimeters away and 5 diameter of 5 millimeters, and cut all the way this way. But like I said, positioning. So we have 2 dimensions that give us. So it's 6 millimeters from this edge to the center, and from this edge to the center 7.5. So for this, create a sketch on this plane. Let's click the top view, zoom in. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a random circle, and let's just dimension it for now. 2.6. All right, so we have our circle that's dimensioned, and now we can just dimension it. So from this line to there, it's 7.5, and if we keep dimensioning it from that line to there, it's 6. and it's all done. And since it's going to be present on the other side as well, let's mirror this completely across. So right here we use our mirror tool. So select our mirror line. We'll click. Okay. So so it detected our plane. I didn't think it was going to detect it, and then now we click on that, and perfect. Now we got our line. Let's scroll down, go back into our sketch. I don't know why it took us out. And so now we got two circles. Let's go to our extrude tool. We're going to remove, uh, and we're going to go, instead of blind, we're going to go through all, and that looks great. Green check mark. And so now we got 2.6 millimeter diameter holes going through there. Now let's get started on the big hole. So for the big hole, we're going to, like I said, first create a plane. So I'll click on that just to give us, that's going to be our reference plane. And so this is just going to be a simple offset. So it's offsetting towards in the up direction. We wanted to flip it downwards and make it 4 millimeters. So if I go back just to double check and zoom out, and it's right there. It's a 4 millimeters. So the purpose of this is to create a plane so that here we can draw a circle. And then once we draw a circle, we can cut through all the material this way and leave, the top portion intact. And now that we're done with that, perfect. We'll sketch, and we'll sketch on plane 2. And so you just make sure it's plane 2 is selected. And let's do normal 2. And look at this. So when the circle isn't detected, I think I went through this in the last video. So let's use the convert tool, click that circle. But the circle, we don't want it to be like a solid line. We want a construction because it's only going to help us when it comes to placing this bigger circle. Now we're going to dimension this circle 5. Double check that real quick. Yes, 5 mil. And let's mirror this across. So this line is going to be mirrored, and that's going to be our entity. And we'll click escape. Now that we got that, we're going to remove, and instead of blind, we're going to go through all. And look at that. It's coming out well. So it recognizes, and it's cutting through all that material. And if we look in, you can still see that it's a small circle way inside the material. So a green check mark, you can see what I was talking about. It's still small on the inside, small on this side, and that thickness is 4 millimeters. We, sort of guaranteed that when we made our new plane. And so now I'm just going to hide plane 2. We don't really need it. And, I like to keep my workspace clean. And so now let's go back to the drawing. I know that there's a missing hole right there. So let's zoom out. It's right here. So bottom right. So let's see these dimensions that we got. You can see, centered along this line. It's 8 millimeters away from this edge, and it has a diameter of 3.3. All right, but how deep is it cutting into the material? Oh, right here, perfect. So it's going 4.2 into the material. So here, you can do your offset, or make an offset plane 4.2 and then cut through everything, or we can just use the blind tool. So let's start our sketch on this backside. get a normal view on it. So now let's draw our circle. We want it to be vertical to the origin. We're going to dimension the circle and make this 3.3. And we're going to dimension that center circle. Let's do that again. We're going to dimension the center of the circle to this line and make that 8. Perfect. And now we're going to do the extrude, remove, and we're going to type in here 4.2. And I'll just rotate across to see if it's extruding right. Looks all good. Green check mark. And look at that. That should be the whole flashlight. Let's just double check this real quick. Let's click away. And this is where you go back through your drawing and just you make sure you used every dimension that's listed here. And yeah, I mean, it looks good. So we are completely done with the top portion of the flashlight. So congrats to everyone that's come this far. So in the next video, now that we got this top part finished, the next video I'll be showing you how to go from from this part, the top, to the bottom. So I mean, you can see already that just by looking at this view, if you look at that and you compare to this, it's I mean, it's very similar, right? And so I feel like for most people, their first the first thing that comes to mind is like, man, do I really have to make this whole flashlight all over again? I mean, it's like really similar. I mean, it's gonna be tedious just making it all over again, but I'm gonna show you a neat trick where you can create a version of a object that shares the same characteristics of its previous version. So this is the top version, right? And we'll make a new version that we'll call the bottom, and it'll start off looking like this, and then we'll be able to make changes, and this will stay intact, and then we'll have this bottom version that'll be edited. So then all we have to do is just like suppress a couple things, change it, and we'll have this bottom part of the flashlight. And so that'll be pretty neat, and I'll try to do that in one video for the next one. For everyone else, try to get up to speed with the CAD, slow it down, and if you have any questions, ask down below. I'll try to answer them as quickly as I can. And, in the description, there's a folder or a drive folder that contains the drawings. They're all updated. And lastly, just remember to have fun and take care.